Hey folks, and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm taking a look at a video made by Zena of Zena Drums about the reason she changed her grip for drumming from your standard rock grip to your more traditional grip, like a jazz player, and it's actually called traditional grip. We were reacting recently to a Sina video for the Journey song Any Way You Want It, and Adrian noted that she was using traditional grip in there. And sometimes she will change the way that she drums to match the drummer that she is emulating for one of these drum covers that she does. But in this case, she's talking about the fact that she was injuring herself and she had to change her grip. So I thought it would be interesting to watch her video on that, which is only about 7 minutes long, but she discusses the injury. Because we've seen several professional drummers have issues later on from bad habits, and perhaps they didn't even know they were bad habits at the time. It only became clear after a while. I just thought this would be educational and interesting. It came out last year. So if you're not already subscribed to the channel, just know I'm always looking at non-music content that features bands that are touring today. So if that interests you, please subscribe so you won't miss anything. All right, let's go ahead and check this out.
I know that some of my viewers were very upset about my switch to traditional grip.
Hold up, we have to read some of these. Traditional grip is useless. It's holding you back. You can't keep up with the tempo. You're on that ridiculous traditional grip train. Remember, folks, people can say anything. It's up to you, if they're constructive or if they're just sounding off. Most unnatural traditional grip I've seen. Sina has played matched grip all her life. Then she goes to a music conservatory and suddenly she comes out of there playing traditional grip. Zero need for that. You cannot say drummers are limited for not using traditional grip. There's no need for a traditional grip.
You only play traditional grip to try to be cool.
That's my favorite one. Okay, Johnny, show us what cool is, Johnny. Sina, when and why did you switch to traditional grip? You're better than I'll ever be, but I can't comprehend why you would switch to a grip that was never intended for drum kit. I'm sorry, Michael, but anyway. Cracks me up seeing traditional grip while playing Metallica. You get the idea. These are great fun. Maybe I'll just read comments for a video someday. Let's keep going, though.
But let me start from the beginning. Hello! Today I have a very big announcement. I just moved to London. London has been the heart of rock and roll for decades. Most music that I have listened to all my life was created in this very city. There is no better place in Europe to meet like-minded musicians and start new rock projects. A few years ago, this would all have been completely unimaginable. To explain why, I need to dive into a different question that came up a lot during these last few years. Why did I switch to traditional grip?
Right, see? There you go. You see her left hand. Yes. Just like Elvin Jones from Coltrane. And all the jazz drummers, all the jazz greats. And then you got the match grip like most rock drummers right there.
The answer to this question is very personal to me, and I consciously decided not to share this before today. When I came across this question in my comment section, I would usually reply with something like, traditional grip feels more comfortable, or I want to be able to master all different drumming techniques. And while all of this is true, this was not the main reason why I decided to switch grips. Yeah. Shortly after I started this YouTube channel in 2013, I occasionally felt some slight pain in my left wrist. This pain occurred mostly if I did this, stayed for a few days and then went away again. I didn't think too much of it back then.
Now, it's good to be paying attention to things like that, especially if you are perfecting a craft like the drums. That actually goes for anything. Woodworking, you name it. Anything where you're working with your hands.
With the years, these episodes became more frequent and lasted longer. As a result of this, I started limiting my own movements and subconsciously tried to avoid bending my hand like this.
No.
This was still not impacting me a lot, so I did not take any action. In 2017, I spent more hours behind the drums than I had ever done before in my life, and suddenly the pain got much worse. As a result of me not using my wrist in a natural way and avoiding certain movements, my mobility was immensely limited.
Just worth noting, at this point, by 2017, she would have been 18. So she's talking about the time period from about age 15 to 18, or 14 to 18, where maybe you are not as likely to take things like this seriously, because you just don't have the life experience. That's all I'm saying. She was kind of young. So for anybody going, well, if you felt a problem, why didn't you do anything? Well, I know plenty of adults who feel problems, see problems, and won't do anything about them, so...
I started wearing this thing here more often than not.
Oh, yeah.
This kept me from bending my wrist
Right.
unintentionally and therefore helped me to avoid additional pain. Of course, by this point, I had caught up with the fact that my pain most likely had something to do with my drumming. Ignoring my body's warning signs for so long made it impossible for me to adjust and learn the correct stick movement, which resulted in me continuing to play with the wrong technique, making my problem worse and worse. Because of the many hours that I spent practicing, and because of the fact that I still hadn't fixed my technique, my right wrist also started to hurt a bit, and I started to get really worried. At this point, the pain in my wrist was worse than ever before, and I was really scared that my right hand would suffer the same. I learned that due to the constant overuse of my snare drum hand and the repeated unhealthy movements, ganglions grew within both of my wrists. Doctors explained to me that a ganglion can be imagined like a little
Yikes.
ball of cartilage within my wrist, taking up space, pressing against the tendons and tremendously restricting my movement. I was in a very difficult position, as this was not only painful in my everyday life, but also made drumming almost impossible. In 2018 and 19, I spent a lot of time trying to find answers. I went to doctors, specialists, hospitals, occupational therapy, did tests for rheumatism and other diseases. I was really hoping for one of those tests to come back positive, but nothing was found. There was no medical reason for the pain in my wrists. From today's perspective, I am very grateful for that, but back then I was really desperate and did not know how I could fix the situation on my own. I was told that in order for my wrists to fully heal, I needed to stop drumming until the pain would stop completely, which would cost me at least 2 years. But
wow.
Not touching my drumsticks for that long was never an option for me, so I looked for different solutions. As this movement was not possible for me to do at the time, I figured out that the traditional grip would allow me to use this movement instead.
Right.
A twist of the arm to get the necessary energy for a strong backbeat. I wanted to make sure that I started using traditional grip in the correct way from the start, so that I wouldn't run into a similar problem again a few years later. Both René Kremers and Etienne Nillesen, my main subject teachers at Artes, helped me immensely with that process. I learned what
People have these issues all the time with their wrists in particular. Even computer users run into this. I mean, you've heard carpal tunnel. This is something along those lines. You have to be careful. You have to listen to your arms, your hands, your wrists, and all of that if you're using them all the time, which most people are in one way or another, because computer work counts. You have to listen to your body. It's very important. I mean, even here, I've got a trackball mouse. Here's the trackball. I'm pulling it out of the mouse here. And there's a pad up in front that keeps my wrist up in the air just a little bit, so it's not like this. It's like this. That's from years of realizing that I had to do something about my own computer technique while I was an office worker. And it did help. At one point, I had a split keyboard, too. You got the whole keyboard here. Well, it actually splits in half, and then you can face it this way if you want, so that it's a little easier on your fingers instead of going that way, because, that does something to you. That's the difference, and that's so much more comfortable. I don't use a split keyboard anymore, but I'd used one for a few years, and that seems to have fixed the issue that I was having permanently. Little things like that help in a major way. So if you're having any issues, whether you're a drummer or just work a lot on the computer, pay attention and do something about it.
What I did wrong in the first place and how I can use the energy from my body more efficiently. I had to avoid directing force into my wrists and rather let the energy of my stroke go through the wrists into the drumsticks. I learned how to adjust the technique in my right hand and how to use the traditional grip correctly. Now, in 2024, I gained back most of my movement range from my hands. I felt comfortable switching back to matched grip for some occasions, and I did not have to deal with a lot of pain while drumming for about 1 year. I have never shared this anywhere online before. I did not want people to know that there was a problem, and I was really ashamed of my own actions that caused it.
Yeah.
As a child, I did not spend enough time focusing on learning the correct drumming technique. To be very honest, I hardly spent any time on it. I immediately wanted to play along to songs and make music. And then later, when the pain started, I waited way too long to take some action. While my hands are both still not back to normal, I am on the right path now, and I was finally comfortable sharing this with you all.
Excellent.
Hopefully, this story can help any musician who is in a similar situation.
Yeah.
I know that some of my viewers were very upset about my switch to traditional grip.
I think I already read that one. Traditional grip is useless. What do you... I mean, you got to do what's right for yourself. You know, people are going to have their opinions, whether right or wrong, and they're going to be forceful sometimes. That doesn't mean they're right. Just because you're loud doesn't mean you're right. So you have to do what it takes to keep yourself healthy. And she did that. I'm actually really glad that she put up this video, given that she was concerned at first, about her mistakes as a younger person. Well, we all make mistakes. It's how we deal with them that defines us as people.
I disagree. There are many very successful rock drummers who use traditional grip, and no one can tell me that Stuart Copeland of The Police does not look fucking cool behind his drum kit. Where exactly is this backbeat lacking energy?
Yep. Traditional grip.
Does Todd Zuckerman, drummer of the band Styx, not look fantastic playing traditional grip?
There you go.
And does this clip of Vinny Colaiuta look like traditional grip is limiting in any way? I have really learned to love the traditional grip over these past years, and no matter if my wrist will ever fully heal or not, I will definitely continue using the traditional grip. And I will also use matched grip. I believe that learning both grips made me understand the physics behind drumming much better, and it opened up a lot of doors for me as well. I'm currently looking for a new studio space to rent in London, and I'm looking forward to building a new community here. I want to do more band cover projects, but I also have some bigger plans for the coming years.
Okay, just for anybody watching this for the first time, don't bother. She just bought a studio in Portugal, right in the area of Porto, about 2 miles from the shore. So very nice location, really well-appointed place. She just made a video about that as well. So meanwhile, we have noticed, as we do our Sina reactions, that she's done quite a number of band covers in the last year, and it sounds like she's going to continue with that, which we think is a great idea.
There's some crazy new ideas that want to be put into action, and I can't wait to get started. More to be announced very soon. I will see you next week with one of my favorite full band boat cover sessions that I ever did. Hit the subscribe button to make sure that you're not missing out on any new videos. Thank you, and bye-bye.
Thank you, Zena, for putting that information out there. It took a little bit of courage, I guess, because with a comment section like that, somebody's going to come back, boy, you were certainly stupid not to take care of that back then. Gosh, and all this, like, I would have known better. Why didn't you know better? Hey, man, life is a journey. Things change. You learn things at your own pace. It's all about how you handle the now, really, and how you handle the people around you, if you ask me. So fantastic that she made that video and she shared that information. And yeah, like I say, one of my favorite drummers of all time, Elvin Jones, John Coltrane Quartet. I don't think he was limited in any way, shape, or form in his playing. In fact, quite a number of rock drummers took cues from him. And if you haven't heard him, by all means, give him a listen. Well, folks, why don't you let me know about your own experiences? If you're a drummer or if you've just had similar issues, whether in instrumentalist or some other craft or some other reason, share your experience below. I'd be interested in hearing about it. It's one of those things that can affect anybody. And it's always worth your while to stop and figure out, well, how can I stop this pain from continuing and then make it go away and then have everything be okay as time goes on? Because like I say, I used to suffer all kinds of issues. No more. I've worked it out. Ergonomics, that's a big part of it, but also things like this, like knowing what direction your wrists are going or what you're doing every day on a regular repetitive basis. You know, drumming's pretty repetitive. So leave those experiences. If you have other suggestions for me, leave those below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you enjoyed the presentation, please subscribe. All right, thanks so much for joining me today. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care, folks.